I think we're going to be starting very, very shortly. So just another roll call. Once again, this is the Hank Hill Memorial Tribute event for Hank's life. If you're spawning into the server today, please go the 63E Desert uniform. Unless you are a Cannoneer in this regiment, then you can go the Cannoneer uniform. The password is Hank in lowercase, and if you are away from a desktop or holdfast, Salty Stick will be streaming today's event.
Alright, I think we're about ready to get started, guys. Make sure you guys are on walking speed. You can see on the top by your health bar.
If you don't know how to do that, just hit shift.
Alright, and moving out. I just ask you to stay in the column until we're all stationary, and then we'll left and right face our respective ways and grab our seats. Just kind of funnel through these little two things. And hold. Alright guys, face outwards, left and right. And go ahead and grab your seats, please. Get started.
This indie developer.
All right, everyone. I want to once again thank everybody here in game and on Discord who was able to turn out. Once again, if you do want to speak when we bring up speakers, please message me. We don't want to miss anybody who would like to speak. If you're on the fence and you're not sure, you can also message me that. But we'll have a kind of a last call. We're gonna just share how Hank made an impact on our lives. And then we're gonna move on to a 21 gun salute at the end to honor him, and be able to celebrate his legacy here with us. I'll start off saying a few words of my own. You know, it's kind of a guilty feeling because you do take people for granted a lot of times in life. You know, you kind of have this idea that everybody's going to be around forever, and it's not always how it is. You know, we learned that a year and a half ago with Robert, the Bruce, and now we learned that with Robert Hank Hill. So I want you guys, even if you didn't know Hank very well, to just please value your friendships, right, in life. Value those who are around you. Take care of each other. Take care of those who bring you joy in life, because Hank brought a lot of people here a lot of joy, and he was probably, you know, he was one of the hardest workers as far as community engagement and striving constantly to have an atmosphere of fun in this community. You know, he stayed up late to play Rocket League and all sorts of games with people. He was constantly on the public servers, being just someone that would take in new people and make them feel welcome. And of course, he was very committed to his artillery company. But Hank just like he made a lot of great friendships and relationships, he made a lot of great art um, in his blacksmithing journey. It's something that he really got into, I know, during COVID. And I know some of you were going to say a lot of the wonderful things that he sent you. And I'm looking forward to that. But if you look around at these pictures, every piece of art you see is something he made. And this is just a really small sample size. There's a lot of beautiful works that he made. If you look at Apocalypse Forge online, you can find a lot of his work. But I really want to give this platform out to those who are particularly close with Hank that would like to say some words. So I'd like to ask Starblazer, could you please start us off? And then I just sent you the invite to speak. You should be able to click it.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, good afternoon to all of you. I'm Starblazer, and I was, I guess, formerly a leader in the regiment in North America during most of the time that Hank was here. And I had the pleasure of knowing Hank for pretty much all of the 5 or so years that he played. Hank was a really special guy coming into this regiment. He went straight into artillery, and he started helping out there pretty much. Hank worked his way up and became an NCO for the regiment, and he became the artillery NCO. And it was always a chill company, and I like to think that Hank contributed to keeping some of our most veteran players active, like Ethan and Grumbler, Forgotten, Sensi, Shaq, and some others. And I remember when the Rockets patch first came out, Hank had the idea to just bring them to the front line. And apparently that was the meta because immediately everybody else started copying him and doing that because our artillery crew was dropping fucking bodies on the field. He helped out with making icons and awards and medals weekly that we used to give out for the sappers and artillery marksmen. I asked him to name some of them, and Hank is the founder of the Bob the Builder medal and the aggressive public relations medals. Um, he was always helpful with setting up new guys in the Discord or being an extra set of hands in the line. And he was the very first NCO that I ever promoted. But that's who he was inside the regiment. And I had a lovely time getting to know him outside of the regiment too. Hank, being an older guy, usually had a lot to say, be it good, bad, funny, ugly, propane and propane accessories. He had a great sense of humor. And I remember last year with the super famous Trump assassination attempt, there was a huge buzz online. Within the first couple of minutes, there's headlines and Twitter's blowing up. And we have a player named the Colonel, and he posted a message in Discord. He said, "They shot at my boy Trump." And Hank, within the minute, responded, "Thank God liberals don't know how to shoot a gun." And he might be the only person that could ever make me laugh as I'm watching an assassination attempt. Um, it's always funny hearing Hank talk about his life. He just had such a unique perspective on things. He was pretty much like for lack of a better word, a wrangler, I guess, in a hospital. He kind of worked with troubled kids, and he would tell me stories all the time about these kids like running up and trying to like stab him and kick him and stuff. And he just had a really good way of dealing with them and just dealing with rebellious people. And it's a bizarre contrast to see because if you look up at him, he was also Santa Claus for his town. He has this picture perfect long white beard, perfect Santa Claus candidate. And after he told me about that, I started calling him Hankless. And it seems like a really selfless thing to do, just to make a little kid's day better. He did a lot to make my life better. As some of you might know, I used to have a McDonald's tier headset, and he sent me not one, but 2 headsets, paid the full shipping and handling to get some of his old ones to my apartment, and just to make everyone's experience a little bit better. Took care of me for a bit, and I guess he let me yell at people with more clarity during the melee trainings. We we used to play Rocket League a lot together and just talk. I'd ask him about life and life advice for things, and he gave me a lot of good tidbits. Um, my favorite one of them, I had just gotten out of about a 5-year relationship with an ex-girlfriend and was obviously a little bit destroyed. And he was telling me that the best relationships that we can have are the ones where we can give without expecting anything in return. And Hank did that a lot. I remember for our North American Artillery League, I asked him to lead us for just a season, and he said he would do that for me. And he reached out to me in the middle of it because he was really happy there were people showing up and showing out for our crew. And they did it for you, Hank. I don't think he expected that in return. I come from a background that's kind of immigrant parents, I guess. I'm first gen. My parents never really made it that far up in terms of like a job ladder or anything. And my very first job out of college, I got to benefit elections. And some of you guys might know that shit is complicated and it's scary to someone that's never really seen it before. And Hank sat down with me for 2 whole hours and just went through it piece by piece, item by item, explained it to me, basically held my hand through the whole thing. And as y'all see, he was big on working in his forge. We had a watch party for his Forged in Fire episode, and it was really cool to take a look at his projects. He got me interested in e-commerce as a result, and so I decided last year I was going to open up my own Etsy store. And naturally, Hank is the very first person I went to for getting help with that. And just like the other parts of my life, he walked me through it. And I would check in with him as I made progress. I copied a couple of messages I sent him, but I said, "Hey Hank, I've made a lot of progress since last time. I'm banging my head over variations. If you have time to talk," and he responded, "Progress in your transition? Good job, lady." I I made my first sale, and I was beside myself, and I told him about it, and he said, "Yeah, people truly are suckers," and sent me an "I'm kidding" gif. And the last time I spoke to Hank was last month. Um, I let him know I was thinking of him. I sent him an obligatory "Go Birds" after the Super Bowl because I live in Philly and he lives in Kansas. And he was sending me updates of his wireframe planes. And he told me that he was making a legacy, motherfucker. He was working on a big one. I don't think he needed the plane to leave a legacy. I think partly that his death has been a gift to bring us all closer together. It's a reminder of the things and the people that matter to you the most in life. And I hope to pay his kindness forward one day because that's his big legacy, motherfucker. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, Star. That was beautiful. Wow. I'm gonna invite next an old but gold member of the artillery who's got a lot of memories with Hank. Cappuccino, if you're in, could you please step up? I'm gonna give you the request here. Let's see. I need technical support, Salty. It's not letting me see the list of people. Yes, please. Yes. Yep, could you do it? Thanks. And Cap, you should be able to speak now once you hit that button. And if you could join
Thank you.
us up here.
I'll just join you virtually. I didn't finish downloading to be able to get in there physically, but I just want to say thank you for letting me speak. And um, if any of you have the opportunity to see the service that took place, there are recordings of that. And I appreciate you sharing this with the family. It was a beautiful service, and I just want to give a little backstory to the man himself and how I came across his path, and also let you all know how much you meant to him, and just seeing you all here and all those who were at the service, you could just see how many lives he touched, and it really says a lot, if you can make that kind of an impact, not only physically but in respects to digitally, with everyone sitting here and those who are also virtual like me, just tuning in. Funny thing was, I've known Hank for over 20 years, and the random game I ended up running into his ass was Left 4 Dead, and him playing that iconic Hank the Hill voice. We had we had no time at all becoming friends, and then me introducing to my other colleagues who I met on the same game, Big Bird and everyone in the Sesame Street, who I know are in the audience today as well. But when this game Hold Fast originally came out, I jumped on board and ran into Zen, and he kidnapped me real quick because I was coming from a game that was very similar. And as you know, recruiting is definitely a thing. And when I couldn't recruit anybody on the field anymore, I started turning to my friends list and started buying them this Holdfast game and be like, "Bros, just come. Look, I gifted you the game. Just download, install, and play. Oh, by the way, you're gonna check this regiment out, by the way." And so he he joined, and he's an incredible man, as you know, and he was so appreciative of your attention and for you guys giving him so much joy over the years as this has evolved. And just to say, I think just off of what Blazer said, pay kindness forward, and leading off of what Jacob had said, I think it really needs to be said that we should always look to be nicer to one another, even though we may come off hard at some times when we get in arguments or during gameplay. At the end of the day, let's just realize how unexpected life is, and we can lose those so close to us. And well, Hank, we love you, and for the family, we are just a small fragment of who he touched in his life. So thank you for giving me this time to speak. And Hank, we love you. Rest in peace, my brother. And for the family,
Thanks to Cap. Really appreciate you saying a few words. That mean a lot.
we are.
Forgotten Sauce, are you in the server? Or we're gonna send you an invite. Yes, please. And then Salty or Echo, could one of you give Forgotten Sauce the permission to speak role?
Yeah, I got it.
And Forgotten, there should be just a thing to click once he gets that to you.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we got you.
All right. My name's Forgotten Sauce. Started the regiment a few years back. Met Hank through those channels, and In all, he and I bonded over a lot of shared interests. In fact, he wasn't someone I really, out of the group of people I got the privilege to play with in my active years, he was one of them that I really connected with. He was always friendly, very charitable, very smart, extremely smart man, skilled artist, skilled blacksmith, and just all around good guy. I know each and every one of you that got the privilege to know him or got to spend some time with him probably share that opinion. Walking into this courtyard, my heart skipped a beat a little bit. Um, Seeing his art here, those are mine. Something I hold dear. And I think, one of the reasons that he and I connected so well was the being artists and creating things with our hands. I was so interested in that, and in these gifts that he had. I was fortunate enough to bond with Hank over something I'll never forget. And I think one of the things that I can't understate is how charitable he was. Of all those knives I have, I only paid for maybe one, maybe two. He would just send them to me. It may take him 6 months, and I could never figure out why it took so long. Well, it's because he was making me 4 or 5 other knives, and each one of them just an absolute beautiful piece of artwork that will live on past him, obviously, but a lot of us, and I cherish those gifts. Um, yeah, it's I I had the privilege of getting to talk to Hank the week he died, and I don't. I'll just say I cherish those memories. He and we hadn't been active in Holdfast, but we'd been active in about everything else, mainly Rocket League. And uh, I still remember the last night I talked to him. It was about 10 o'clock at night, and we had just won a tournament on Rocket League, and he was always very motivational, very, very complimentary of everyone around him, especially in a mentoring and in a teaching way. He was always just so patient. And even if you're terrible at something, I'm generally terrible at Rocket League and a few other things, but he was always there to have my back, and I never asked for that. I never asked for anything, and having a friend that it's just there to prop you up is something I hope we all get to experience. But I won't take up too much more time. But I kind of dreaded this moment. Just I've had like everyone that knows him, it's been difficult. So um, I'll sum it up. Let's all be kind to each other. Let's all be patient with each other. Let's all honor his memory. Thanks.
Thank you, Forgotten. Cincy, I believe, is calling from work. Echo, could you give Cincy Star the microphone, please?
Yeah.
I believe he should be good to talk. And he's listening in.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello, everybody. This is Sensi. I have inherited the luxurious artillery department from the great of Josh and Hank, and I think before me, I think it was Ethan. And I just want to say, for me at least, last time I'm choking up just a second. Hank was another person like Robert for me in my life where I've gone through a lot of shit since like 2020. 63 I already know about. If nobody else does, it's all good. But I had a problem explaining my feelings to my real friends. But I had people like Hank who would just sit there and just listen to me. And I had better time expressing how I felt with my situation with Hank than I did with people I knew in real life, just because he was that good of a person to talk to and listen to. And he helped me make a lot of like tough decisions that I had just been lollygagging about because he told me what I needed to hear. And I'm really gonna miss him. And anybody who ever got to interact with him, anybody who ever got to play a game with him, could tell you the same thing. He was just there, and he told you, for better or for worse, honestly, what you needed to hear in a very kind, gentle way. I have a way of talking over people. I'm quite kind of like spastic and ADHD, but he was always kind to me. And I didn't know when I first joined this game, I was going to make an impact on my life. And I didn't know how much more of an impact because, like, I thought just playing the game was going to be enough until Hank and Josh dragged me into artillery, and then I found my home. And all I want to do now is try to bring that same energy into my group of guys. Try to make them feel as loved as I felt, because everybody deserves that. And I know, or at least I hope he's happy looking down at what I've done. Because I'm not doing that. Everybody deserves a shot. I love all of you. That's enough for me. I can't talk anymore.
Thanks for that, man. I want to invite up anybody now who still would like to speak. If you're in game, if you want to type in chat and you can work your way up, or if you want to DM me if you're just joining us on Discord. There's no shame in not speaking, obviously, guys. It's hard for some people, and other people just, you might not feel like you're up to it. But I believe that's Dejobi. Dejobi, could you work your way up here? Yeah, if you could get him, Echo.
I need to jump.
And I think Echo's handing you the microphone here to Joby, if you can look in Discord real quick. Let's see. We're trying to find you. Audience. Any luck? Sorry guys, we're having just a bit of a technical delay. I'm only seeing about half the audience. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry I'm sorry, Alaska, that's confusing. Okay. We figured it out, guys, sorry. Alaskan's longtime NCO and a good friend of Hank. He's gonna say a few words now.
Yeah, sorry about the name confusion. Yeah, I kind of tough putting what I'm feeling into words, but I think it's made me think about the nature of knowing people online, and I don't know about for other people, but for me, I think there's a piece of me that it feels almost like it's not real, I guess. And I guess this is just thinking back on all my time with Hank, it makes me realize how those were real experiences and real memories, and it's yeah, I mean it's just kind of it's hard to think about, but I do just want to say that I really appreciate all the time I got to spend with him, and when I heard that he had passed, it was harder than I it hit me harder than I thought hearing that kind of thing would, but yeah, it just I think he was a really wise person and funny, and I think he was a really good piece of the community and a lot of what made it great. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Alaska. Next up, we got a longtime skirmisher legend. Always good to hear from him. Archibald is gonna say a few words. And I sent you the invite, Archie. You should be able to click it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, folks. A lot of you don't know me, and that's all right. We don't even need to get into all that. But I was probably like a corporal by the time Hank showed up. And I got to tell you, within the first week, I noticed this guy. Within the first few months, I was a huge fan of this guy. And one of the things that we like to bond over is that both of us being like older than the classic, than the normal, gamer who does this, um, we viewed this regiment as an opportunity to sort of be like leadership mentors and kind of like a boys and girls club for those of you who are familiar with the concept. And just kind of be like leader role models for folks, or just help people with whatever problems they have in life, and just be there for people, because we both understood that the actual physical communities that we live in are not like the 60s, right? Like, we don't interact with our neighbors the same way anymore, and we don't have block parties all the time. So it's like these online communities, these things that we're all a part of, these are kind of the best we've got for watching out for one another and developing these strong friendships, if this is what we're going to do with our time. So me and Hank really kind of met on that level, and we spent a lot of time just like talking. And then there's times where we didn't talk for a while, and it was never anything bad. But uh, but towards the end there, me and him had spent quite a bit of time in a different server, just like reconnecting and talking, hanging out, and all that. And he was still the same old guy, and I think that was kind of one of the things that I could really just like point to and say, this is a major contribution to what you're doing for those folks. You're still the same guy. You're consistent. You're not flip flopping around. You're not changing your mind. Like, you're still Hank. You're still thinking the same way, regardless of the information being passed back and forth. You're a steadfast individual. You're a good dude. You're a good friend. And there isn't a person on planet Earth that could change my mind about that, because I've seen it in too many circumstances. We need more people like that. And if any of you just feel like changing your life for the better, that's an example you can draw from. Don't draw from me. Draw from that memory, because that story's kind of finished, but his memory lives on, and you carry him with you, and we honor him by learning from him even into the future. That's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Archie. All right, next we're gonna have somebody that you guys may or may not know, but it's always great to see him and have him around. I'm just messing with him a little bit, but Zen, it's great to see you, and I just sent you the invite to speak. Make sure everything's working good on your end.
Yeah! Thank you, Jacob. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
First, I would like to send my deepest condolences to his family, and also to his friends who are here. We lost a brother. Now, whether you were close with him, whether you may have differences with him, I think a lot of people have covered a lot of good points, shared their personal stories with them, their personal experiences with Hank. And I'm going to keep it somewhat brief, but I too would like to share uh, a story that I I keep in mind every time that I think of him. And Hank, when he came in, I think he was, you know, he showed a lot of passion for trying to get in a position where he can make change. And we had many conversations. Um, but one main thing that stuck with me was the fact that he always was fighting for the underdog. That's just who he was. And he had faith that anybody that was willing and had their heart in the right uh, place can make that change. I credit to him because back then, we were a larger community. We had a lot of members coming in. We had an amazing group of COC. All of our officers had a lot of great potential. Um, but the thing is that we tend to select them through their skill, their in-game skill. And he, just like with all other people that, they wanted to reach out and, have my ear. He he sat down and we discussed what was going on. And he was telling me that we should not just focus on skill alone, right? Because even though we were still, trying to keep competitive, there was other people that wanted to make an impact in this community. And with that, we had a conversation. It was very deep, it was very long, and it was very extensive. And I was trying to, explain to him that, we were trying to, this is what we were trying to do. This is the goal, and this, bringing people in that may not be as skilled, may kind of push against that in some ways, in some aspects. But that always stood in the back of my mind. And because of him, we actually created or brought back the Fusilier Company, right? And that was an entire group of members that, yeah, they may not be extremely skilled at the game, but they can, through their, experience and their progression, they can help contribute to what this community is. And he made a great impact on not only this regiment, but many lives in game and in real life. And again, I think that this, is a great way to honor such a good man because that's what he was. He was a great man, a good man, a beautiful man. And, he was, if he was passionate about something, he tends to, you know, give it his all. And, like Archibald had mentioned, he was very steadfast. Um, and these qualities are very rare nowadays, you know. Um, and I take a look at you guys. I see the current membership, and I'm truly blown away because we all helped to create this community to what it is, and I hope that through loss, there can be a rebirth in some way. And let, the good qualities that he shared with all of us and these good experiences and good memories live in us, but also not just through memory, but through action, because he was a man of action. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to speak. May you rest in peace, my brother. And God bless you all. Thank you.
Vive la France! Vive la France! Vive la France! À la mort!
Thank you,
Vive la
Zen,
peur! Oui.
for speaking and for bringing us all here. Does anyone else would anyone else like to speak before we move to our closing ceremony here with our salute? Joffers, yeah, you're more than welcome. Come up and share a few words, please. Do you have Joffers in there, Equal, that you could give speaking to? Yeah, thank you.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate you allowing me to speak. Yeah, I didn't know Hank half as well as a lot of people in this channel, but I just wanted to share a few interactions I've had with him. And yeah, I've been playing this game for 4 or 5 years now. And because of my work schedule, I mostly played NA events. So a lot of my time I spent fighting or playing with 63. And I learned very quickly to be afraid and scared if 63 was ever in artillery, and especially Hank. And I remember a couple of years ago with the NA Artillery League, the first match that the KRA played, there was a few issues with teething problems with the rules and stuff like that. And after the match, Hank asked me to come and speak to him and a few other admins and stuff. And it just struck me how humble he was that, even though even at that point, I was still a relatively new player, especially to artillery, that he valued other people's opinions and just how humble and, caring he was to make that tournament the best that it could be. And that's a testament to him and his convictions and who he was as a person. And even when it came to the match against between KRA and 63, it's something I often think back on as one of the funnest comp matches I've ever had. Just how close it was, and how evenly and how it went. And there's a clip in the KRA Discord of from our perspective of us clinching a draw right at the last second because we were struggling against how Hank's team and how well we put together. And it's just shows how much of a great leader he was. And I know from everyone in the KRA and the wider community, it's while he had really close friends and relationships within the 63, his passing truly affects the wider Holdfast community. And I know everyone, from everyone in the KRA, we send our deepest sympathies, and he'll live on in our memories. And yeah, thank you.
Vive l'empereur! Vive l'empereur! Vive l'empereur!
Thank you, Joffers. Thank you guys from throughout the community who've joined us today. Sensei just has a couple things he'd like to add to what he said earlier. So we're going to give the mic back to Sensei for a second, and so he can speak. Yep.
the hell?
Oh, there you
My
go.
phone is acting up. Can you hear me?
We got you. We got you.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear us? We got
Okay,
you.
so everybody can hear me.
Yes, sir.
All right, my phone just misbehaves real bad sometimes. Yep. So I just wanted to add a couple of things because I got wicked choked up, and one of them was, man, why is this happening to me? It was just literally about how all the fun that I had in the artillery department, thanks to Hank and him bringing it in, from me and him joining the EU side to get the silver arty tournament to our own that was just brought up by Joffers, to the legendary back-to-back matches me and him had where I dropped 20 with the rocket aiming and he dropped 17, to just even the last time I got to hang out with him, which was he invited me to go watch a random ass movie that I'd never heard of with just him and Forgotten, and it was honestly some of the most fun I'd had all year. And I'm just really gonna miss that man, and I just want to, give him the proper salute instead of just choking out. So I'm gonna miss you, brother. Keep slinging that hammer in the sky for me. I'm gonna keep this arty company alive. That's it. That's all.
Alright, guys, we're going to have just a couple more speakers, and then we will be moving off to
You're
our
gonna need to take it
number
away
one
from me.
gun
I'm still at
salute.
work. Hi, folks.
Oh, here we go.
No.
So, looks like we have a few more that want to speak, and then we're going to be moving on once again to our 21 gun salute. Reaper King, feel free to come up and say a few words. I send you the invite. Yeah, you might have to jump. Oh, hold on. Do it one more time. It shoots me out. There you go.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Unlike many of you here today, I did not know Hank, but from the sound of things, he was a brilliant guy, and I'm sure many of you are struggling with his loss, and I'd like to say that don't just sit there and sort of wrestle with your own thoughts, and to speak to someone, whether it be someone else who is also suffering from the loss of Hank, or I wouldn't even mind if you reached out to me if you're really struggling, even if you don't know me, but I'd always be happy to help. And we do not get to choose how long we have on this earth, yet we do get to choose what to do with the time that we are given. And I'd like to think that, given the events that have transpired over the past few weeks, that we would all like to be a little bit more like Hank, as he seems to have touched a lot of you and made a lot of your lives better. And it's a really short sort of message here, but thank you for letting me speak, and I hope that this was worth something to you all.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. Right, Jeff, please head on up. Good as always to have you, man. Oh, I got juked out again. Okay, do it one more time. There you go.
There we are. There we are.
Yes, sir. We got you.
Oh, hey. I got a few words to say. As many of you already touched on with Hank, I knew him for the 2 years I spent here in the 63. Many a late night playing games with him, attending events, as Star touched on, attending the watch party for his Forge and Fire episode. That's a memory that will always live with me and stay with me. The humbleness that Hank showed as we were all like, oh my god, can't believe it, you managed to get on TV and things like that, and he was like, oh, it's no biggie, and just how humble he was. Something else I'd like to touch on is just the amount of grace and patience that man showed. As I'm sure Forgotten and Outspace can remember, we had some nights where we may have hit the bottle a little too hard while playing games with Hank, and just the amount of patience and Lovey showed us as we're there, trying our best to help him while we're just completely incoherent. And the memories you make from those nights, they'll live with you forever. And I'm just glad that I got to share some time with him and speak on some things with him. And yeah, oh god, it's hard, man. But yeah, no, just oh, I'm. I was really sad to hear of Hank's passing. I hope he's in a better place now. And yeah, no, I think that's all I've got in me.
Thanks, Jeff. Absolutely. Let's get Will Kill up here next. And then I believe after that, Echo is going to be saying a few words. Looking snazzy in that arty uniform. Will, it should be in Discord ready for you to speak once you click on it. Perfect.
Hello, everyone. This is Will Kill. I used to be in the regiment a while back. I was a soldier once, but then after a while, sometimes when you play a game, you get a little burned out by it. And I remember I was going to leave, but then either Hank offered or I asked him if I could join the artillery reg since I wanted to do something different. And, and he said yes. So for a while I was in the artillery reg, and, he made it fun. Because sure, as much as it's fun to be, on, forming the line and doing the commands, sometimes you get burned out by it. So I remember thinking like, okay, I want to stop playing, but I still want to hang out with the guys. But then, I remember artillery was available, so I decided to do that. And then, yeah, he made it fun. Even though artillery is different, obviously, than line, but he still did it in a sense how he kind of taught us, but then it was still fun. So yeah, so I guess I have to thank for that, for me to stay along a little longer. And then I remember after a while, I found out about he has his own shop. He's like an amateur blacksmith. And then I remember hearing about that. And then at the same time, I was watching the Forge and Fire on YouTube because it kind of caught my interest. Because I think I'm not sure if I was watching it because he started doing it. So I thought, and I saw on YouTube, oh, that's cool. And then I found out he's going on it. Whoa, that's crazy. The person that I started watching this stuff about is now going on the show. It's kind of like a full circle thing. So, and it was cool to watch him on there because it's a thing of it's kind of stupid to say, but it's how you kind of know someone and now they're on TV. It's oh wow, they're almost quasi famous now. So I thought that was cool. And I was always planning on buying something from him, but I just wanted to see because I wasn't, because I think I noticed on his shop how he'd cycle through different things. Yeah, my regret was I should have bought something sooner, but that's life. Sometimes you make plans, but things happen. So anyways, thank you, Hank, for kind of getting my interest in watching that show, kind of getting into it, kind of, just watching more about it. It's kind of interesting because, you kind of realize when you watch that show, Forge and Fire, it's a lot of intricacies in doing that. So thanks again, Hank, for kind of showing me how cool that is. And thanks for letting me be on artillery. That was fun. Learn a lot. You kind of learn a few things when you play. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks everyone for showing up.
Vive
people wanted to say a few words.
Vive la France!
I started playing this game just about 5 years ago now. You know, I'm not very old. I'm only 20. So when I started playing this game, I was only 15. And I met, throughout me playing this game, I met a lot of people who are older than me and give advice not only to me, but to, you know, other people I know. And I've become friends with them. And one of those people was definitely Hank. You know, especially he was older. He's mid 50s, I believe. So he, if we are ever, you know, after an event or, you know, just chilling in one of the channels, he would always, you know, if we ever talk about some IRL shit, he'd always give advice not only to me but to other people, like Starblazer was saying earlier, how he gave advice to him. And you know, I think a lot of us kind of think he's kind of like the dad of the regiment in some way, where he would give it because you know he's older and like everyone else in the regiment. He'd always give advice to anyone who ever talking about some shit. And you know, seeing someone like that go, you know, I wasn't super close to him, but you know, it was a friend of mine. Um, but seeing someone like that go and kind of the effect it has on you know other people, friends of yours, and you know even yourself is it's uh it's awful. And you know I there's no other like words to put it besides that this fucking sucks. Um, I woke up and the first thing I saw when I looked at my phone and opened Discord is that Hank had died, and I like couldn't believe it, and I was really upset about it. Um, and I ended up calling my dad. My parents know I do all this, and uh, some people mentioned the Fortune Fire stuff he did, and I was in that watch party watching it too. And I remember I used to watch Fortune Fire with my dad all the time when I lived back home. And I remember I told him like, "Oh yeah, someone I play video games with like was on the show. Like, watch this episode," and he did, and he thought it was really cool. Um, so one of the first things I did when I found out about this was I called my dad about it because I was like, "Shit, I need someone to talk to." Um, you know, and he was also kind of like, you know, Hank was kind of like dad of the regiment. Um, I also, you know, want to add with all this that a lot of uh, a lot of people in here are around my age ish, some older, some younger, and a lot of probably a lot of your parents around the same age as mine, which around Hank's age when he passed. So you know, I think we all really wish we could, you know, talk to Hank one more time and tell him how much he meant to us and what he did for us. So um, really, I you know, send your parents or your friends, you know, text because you never know. You know, especially you know people your parents who are older. You know, when's when's the last time you're gonna be able to talk to them? Because if I'd known that you know Hank was gonna pass away, you know, I would have loved to talk to him one last time, get advice on life. Um, but you know, can't ever do that. So you know, send your parents a text. No, send friends a text because yeah, you never know it's the last time. And I also really want to thank everyone for being here, especially people who didn't know him from other regiments. It means I think it means a lot to me and anyone else here that knew him to see not only just the 63 community but the whole fast community come together like this to support each other when you know people are going through it. And I think it means so much to me, and I think it means so much to other people here that knew him. So thank you so much. And yeah, Fi Hi Hank, I'll miss you, man. That's it for me.
All right, gentlemen. This is the last call. If you'd like to say anything, we are going to try to be moving on to the 21 gun salute and the closing ceremony with Big Bang's poem. So if you guys could, please form a double rank here. If you're in the Arty crew, please head over to the guns where your positions are. If you're Arty and you weren't there at the beginning, just go with them and just kind of stand by the guns. And we'll get it going from there. Arty crew, you're more than welcome to run over there. Alaskan, could you go flag? And Forgotten, if you're able to, could you go drummer? All right, and while they're getting that ready, guys, we're gonna be moving out. And Big Bang spent some time as a funeral director, and he's got a poem that he likes to read in this kind of situation. So we are going to have him read that off, and then we're going to finish this off with a 21 gun salute for our NCO. And Big Bang, I've sent you the invite to speak, so whenever is convenient, you'll be able to click that. And
One, two, 1, 2.
Yes, sir. We got you loud and clear.
All right. Thank you for letting me speak. As Jacob said, I did spend quite some time as a funeral director, and there was a particular poem that I used to read for people who have had just such a massive impact on the lives of everyone around them.
You guys can
so
face
please, if you'll indulge me for a moment. This poem is called The Dash. I read of a man who stood to speak at a funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of birth and spoke the following dates with tears. But what he said mattered most was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time they spent alive on earth, and now only those who loved them know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love, and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. To be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. And if we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is read, with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things that they say about how you lived your dash? I think Hank would be proud of the things that people have said about how he's lived his dash. Thank you very much for giving me the moment.
Thank you very much for that. There is one more speaker that we're going to have. Grims, I've got you on here, and you should be able to, should be good to go. Thanks, man.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to say, I've known Hank a really long time, and it was actually really hard for me to hear the news that he passed. It was at work, and I was just really trying not to get emotional, and it kind of got to me. He was a really good guy. He always helped me in the regiment, and he taught me a lot. I remember when he was first starting out his business with learning how to make knives. He'd send pictures. I never actually got to watch the show. I was just always trying to find it. But I do remember, since it's been a long time, I remember in the Big Bird channel we'd always play PUBG together, and it's really hard because I try not to get to know people too much in the regiment, just because I have a lot of other things going on, and I just don't like when things like this happen. And I always try not to like reveal my identity, stuff like that. But over the years, I've really met a lot of people who've changed my life, and Hank was one of those people. And I've been able to meet a lot of people in real life over the years because of it, and it really got me through high school and
through some pretty hard years for me. So I just appreciate Hank, and I appreciate everyone that also got to know Hank. He was a really cool guy, and he really stuck it out for many years. Particularly, I think because he liked helping a lot of people in the regiment, and he was kind of a mentor for a lot of people. I was surprised he actually he went to events, and even though he like never got promoted, and he did that for years, just sticking out with the arty guys, and I was always impressed with him. I like the guys who were kind of the old heads and were really good with discipline and that sort of stuff. That was my thing. But yeah, I just appreciate Hank, and sorry for being late to this. That's it.
All right, drum roll, please, Mr. Forgotten. All right, Mr. Big Bang. In honor of Hank Hill, you may commence firing. Gentlemen, thank you all for coming out here. I want you to know that you're not alone, and that just because you haven't met Hank in real life doesn't mean that your loss is any more diminished or any less meaningful. I want you to feel like you can reach out to each other, support each other, just like Hank always did. And I want to thank you all for coming here. And I'll leave it at that. Alright, that concludes our ceremony. Thank you very much as well to the Arty crew for that awesome 21 gun salute. And thank you to everyone especially who spoke today and left messages in the tribute channel. We will be trying to reach out with the family and send in the nips. So have a great night, and thank you guys.
Vive la France! Vive la France!
Salty, you want to grab a screenshot and we'll put it, I guess, for the family, just to have a look at it.
If you would like, we could enable shooting and just have one big volley for everyone.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just on Hank. So if everyone could please present in the sky, and Jacob will give the call. Have a gun salute.
Present. And fire! Alright, boys. Thanks again. Feel free to stick around, talk, reconnect with anybody that you want to talk to. I'll be moving down myself, and you all are welcome to as well. Thanks.
Monsieur.
Vive la mort!
Monsieur. Vive l'empereur! Monsieur.
Yo,
I can't hear you.
Frog.
Yes, Alan.
Was I supposed to be streaming or not?
You didn't have to.
Nah,
recorded
I
it.
did. Just so this can be down in history and shit. Also,
Because
he made some really good fucking knives. Like, oh my god, they're beautiful. Like, I would actually pay money to like buy one. I bet the value goes up now because he's dead or something.
Probably.
Yeah. I'm not trying to like sound fucked up, but like, I would actually pay like at least like 150.
Have you seen this one over here?
No, I haven't.
Looks like something from CS:GO.
Holy shit, it does. Beautiful. Yeah, there's a...
400 euro skin.
That does look
skin.
awesome.
Legendary, by the way.
So what was
Drops
the
only one
website
time,
that
drops only
posted
one
all the
time.
art to?
Once, it only drops once in the whole game of CS:GO.
Ooh. You made a plane?
Oh yeah, it got solved, thanks. Kinda just followed what everyone else was doing for the start.
Damn.
I think he made it to round 2 or something. It was the scrapyard one, right?
Yo.
Here comes Santa Claus.
So did you
Yo.
trust me actually being actually not? Do you trust me more than Joe Biden?
Hmm?
Nah, not to like say anything during.
I was scared.
It's a funeral. What?
I don't know, man. I was a little scared.
Wait,
I
did you
mean-
say you not trust me more than Joe Biden?
Yeah, what did you say?
I said. I don't even remember. It's somewhere. You can look it up. I'm still streaming right now.
Can you hear me now? Yes.
Oh, dude,
Thank God. Felt like, I thought you fell into like a fucking volcano or something.
Below you.
That was really
Dog.
funny.
We have someone in the. We have someone in the.
It was sad. That first guy had me tearing up. I'm not gonna lie. Star.
I didn't cry
hate-
at once.
I hate listening to people cry.
Why?
Cause it's sad.
How? I mean, shit. At my funeral, I want people to be fucking dancing, drinking pints of beers, listening to music, partying, on my, on the casket. I want to be happy, not sad.
Depends.
I can see everyone.
What do you mean depends?
Depends on how people want to take your funeral. I mean, you can't tell them to fucking be happy and shit like that when you're dead as fuck, 6 feet under the
I
ground.
mean, true, yeah. But like for me,
Yeah, guys, I'm dead. So what? Get over it.
I want you to fucking take the L on my grave. Thank you very much. Not literally, but
yeah, but I didn't know he did like blacksmithing, but that's pretty fucking dope.
I kind of want to watch the episode.
Yeah, I
maybe
kind of
I'll ask.
want to watch it too. Like I'm
Joe.
curious. I think I already watched the episode or something. I watch like it beyond like what's it called? Moist Critical watched it without even realizing. But yeah, thank you for anybody who popped in my stream, and this was for Hank Hill's death in Hold Fast, not clickbait, IRL. See ya.